Good morning. Today is Monday, September 9th, and Megan and I are going to be posting weekly videos on the Monday of each week in order to discuss some of what took place in the previous week in the class, your reflections on the readings, or perhaps on one of the panels or guests that we've had in the class. And we'll also use this time to talk a little bit about what you have to look forward to in this coming week. So for the previous week, I hope you've had a chance to look at the introductory video that Megan and I posted online, where we talk a little bit about the syllabus for the class, as well as how we're planning on conducting some of the activities and why she and I are so excited to be teaching this class this semester. We also want you to please read through the syllabus to be aware of the deadlines within the course, especially when the final project and the final papers are due. And be aware as well for the in-class sessions that we have, the dates of those. We'll have some panels as well as guest speakers during the semester, so you want to be aware of when those are occurring so you can put them on your calendar. And also very soon, we'll have information about whether or not you are in group A or B for the class. We're going to be splitting the class up into two groups where you'll be assigned to one or the other. And we are going to use this grouping in order to help you respond to the discussion prompts about the different readings, so you'll know whether to post a response or to comment on some of the postings. So be on the lookout for that, both on the Canvas site for the course, as well as look out for emails. And also I want to remind you to post a introduction paragraph talking about yourself and your goals for the course. This doesn't have to be long, just 250 to 500 words talking about a little bit of your background and why you're interested in taking the class. Some of you have already posted this paragraph, and thank you for doing that. For those of you who haven't, please take the time to post. And I think this type of paragraph posting is really important for a class like this that's mostly online, because we're not going to have that opportunity to meet each other in person during the class and get to know each other. So having this paragraph posting is a way for us to really get to know each other as a class, which I think is very important. And I've really enjoyed reading the paragraphs that are there already up on the course website, and it's allowed me to realize what a diverse background students have who are taking this class. Students have very different reasons for wanting to take the class, and different backgrounds. Some students are STEM graduate students who have experienced being the sole woman in a very male-dominated field, or one of the very few women, and other students have a real passion and academic interest in women in leadership positions. So again, I encourage you, please do post your paragraph and read the paragraphs from your classmates so you get to know them better, and you can work better together in groups throughout the semester. So for this coming week, we've assigned several readings that are very useful for discussing women in leadership. There are some of the readings talk about cultural differences of women in leadership, how women in leadership positions are viewed differently in different countries and different cultures. And then also bringing into the whole aspect of women and their roles as caretakers for their families. It could be children, could be elder care, how that impacts women in leadership positions. So I encourage you to start reading some of the readings we've posted on the course website. And also assigned for this week is going to be an opportunity for you to take the IAT, and it's a online implicit bias test. And it's an important test to take as we begin this class, because it makes all of us aware that we are coming to any conversation and interaction with implicit biases. They're biases that we are probably not even consciously aware that we have. I think all the students who are taking this class are very much aware of overt biases. That's why we're taking the class, as we know how challenging it can be to be a woman in leadership and wanting a role of being a leader and as a woman in a STEM type discipline. But when I took the IAT, I have to admit I was surprised that I had as much bias as I do. It's by implicit bias, it really is that unconscious bias that you have in the back of your mind without even really thinking about it. And that is important to know that it's there, because now knowing that I have these biases, when I meet a new person or when I'm evaluating someone, I want to pause and ask myself, am I making that assumption based on any real data? Or is it just sort of the implicit bias inside my own head that's not really justified? And then I reevaluate the situation. And these implicit biases, it's quite interesting. It's human nature to categorize any person that we come in contact with. And it's that kind of categorization behavior is important to the way that we function, both in our personal lives and our academic lives. This sort of putting things into buckets helps us organize our world and helps us to function. So in that sense, it's a good behavior, but there's also a negative side to it too, because obviously we're making these assignments of people based on either real or imagined biases. And so it's something that we need to be very careful of when we're having interactions with people. And I think it's important as well, don't beat yourself up about having these biases when you take the IAT. It's something that, again, you just want to be aware of. We all have these implicit biases. Women, there's a lot of studies to show that women have implicit biases against having other women in leadership positions. That can happen. And so just be aware of it. And when you know you have the bias, you can give yourself the permission to pause when you make these assumptions about people. And again, just ask yourself these questions. Am I justified in making these assumptions? Yes or no? And should just think about, slow yourself down when you're making assumptions about people and making these categorizations. So this week, again, please take the IAT. I think in the assignment, you're taking one IAT for gender and one for race. And we'll be talking about these in your reflection for this week. So I hope you enjoy this week, and I'll look forward to reading your reflections and other things that you'd like to discuss on the course website.